Okay, so in the previous session, we have seen that, okay, how to write the annotations and how can we install TestNG and how can we configure TestNG in Eclipse. And then we wrote some basic scripts like in the form of different TestNG, what are different TestNG methods and annotations are available, and what exactly the sequence and how exactly it's creating the pair between before method, test method, and after method. And we wrote one basic Selenium script also, okay, to check the sequence is working fine or not. So we have written. So this is the standard way of writing the test cases in every company. If you join somewhere and in your project also, if you want to implement TestNG framework, okay, you have to use the first annotation. You have to use at the rate before method annotation. Then you have to use at the rate after method annotation, and number of test cases you can write, okay, with the help of at the rate test annotation. So these are the different at the rate test annotation means. These three annotation means at the rate test annotation means we have three test cases. Tomorrow, if you have 50 at the rate test annotation, it means 50 test cases are there. So if I ask you how many test cases you have in this particular class, so you have to count total number of at the rate test annotation, which will give you the total number of test cases. Okay, at the rate before method and at the rate after method, okay, not considered as a test case. These are preconditions and post conditions. Before each and every test case, I want to execute, I want to launch my Google Chrome, then maximize and delete all cookies and driver, launch the URL and everything. And then I want to perform my test cases, right? And always remember one thing, the test cases are independent to each other. Okay, this test case is not dependent on test case is not dependent on this particular test case. So test cases are always independent. Okay, so today we will learn some more about some other features are available in TestNG. Okay, so yesterday we have seen that, let's see, I have written these three test cases. So let's see, I'll create some more test cases. Let's see, I'll create one more test case, test simple public void. Let's see, test case number one. I'm not writing any Selenium code, just simple I'm writing, let's see, system.println. I'm printing test one. So let's see, I'll create some more test case. Test one, test two, and test three. Okay, so if you ask how many test cases, we have three and plus three, six test cases I have written, right? So yesterday we have seen that if you want to prioritize your test cases, so we have defined the prioritization that priority is equal to 1, then 2, then 3. Then if you want to give priority is equal to 4, we can give this priority is equal to 5, priority is equal to 6, like this. So now whatever the priority we have given, on the basis of that priority it will be executed. The sequence will be maintained on the basis of the priority. So it's a very famous interview question. They will ask at a time of interview, how will you execute your test cases in a sequencing manner? How will you define the sequencing of your test cases? So you have to tell, we have one keyword, priority keyword, and immediately after at the rate test, we have to write like this, priority is equal to 2. See, priority is a keyword, so P is small. Okay. So now if you run this program, let's run it, and I'll do one thing. It was earlier, it was Gmail actually. Okay, so let's run it, and we will see all the six test cases will be executed one by one on the basis of the priority. So if you see, so 3 times we are launching the browser, okay, for these test cases, and these test cases will be executed. We are not writing any Selenium code. It will execute simple test 111 or whatever the value we are printing. Okay, so I think it's still running, and we can see that Google title test, and okay, this is again one more time Chrome is running, another one more time Chrome is running, and one more time Google Chrome is running. So it should be executed six times because six test cases we have executed, and it's printing all the values one by one, right? And if you see the report, so there is a report, one tab will be created. This is the report. If you see the report in this particular Google test, we have six test cases on the basis of sequence got executed. The first sequence was Google title test. So Google title test, then mail link test, and then Google logo test, right? We are simply verifying that logo is displayed or not, and test 1, test 2, and test 3, like that, right? Now, one more important feature is that, so this is the one type of reporting we are getting. Okay, if you see one TestNG result icon will be created, you can click on it, and this is the report we are getting. And in the console also we are getting some report that how many test cases were there, six test cases. This is a report of your six test cases. So you can copy this and you can send it to your manager or lead, or you can just share with your team members that these test cases got passed and one is failed. And immediately after failed test cases, it will give you the reason what exactly the problem with this particular test case, whatever the exception or any no such element or whatever XPath issue or ID issue. Okay, but we are not bothered about why it is getting failed. We are bothered about it got failed and these test cases got passed. Right now, if you this is your project morning sessions, and if you refresh this page, so I'm going to refresh. How to refresh the project, not the page, sorry. How to refresh the project? Simple. This is your project, the main project folder. Right click on it and click on refresh. So after clicking on refresh, you will see one folder will be created automatically, test output folder. In this particular project, you need to open this test output folder, and you will see some number of files. Okay, number of files are over here. Okay, so test output means what exactly the output of your test result, output of your test cases after the execution. So we have one file here, index.html file. So what you have to do, you just need to right click on this index.html file, go to properties, and this is the location. Okay, you just need to copy this location, just copy this, and open your Google Chrome or any browser and paste over here this location, and you will see that this is the output I'm getting, the HTML report. Okay, so you will see that the left hand side some links are available. So we have total number of methods, six test cases got executed, one failed and five passed. And this is the main link test, is the failure test case. And if you see pass method show, okay, all these are green color. Okay, green check. It means these five test cases got passed, one is failed. So you can send this report to your manager, right? And if you want to see the chronological view also, you can see chronological view like this. So see, it's creating the pair setup, Google title test, and tear down. Setup, mail link test, and tear down. And mail link test got failed, so that's why it's giving cross, red cross. Okay. Some important like times, on the basis of times also you want to see how many test cases. Six test cases are there, 0 to 5. These are the methods. In which class it's available? In this particular class it's available. How much time it took? So it took around 30 milliseconds for first test case, and then 312 and 96 and 11 milliseconds for last 2-3 test cases. So you can see the timer report also like that. Okay, but this is a basic HTML report generated by TestNG automatically by default. So this is another very good advantage of TestNG, that it gives you the HTML report. This is the HTML report, right? The HTML report name is index.html file. So how to get index.html file? I'll repeat. First, after the execution, every time you have to you have to refresh your project. So just refresh it. Sorry. And then test output folder will be created. Inside the test output folder, this index.html file is available. Automatically it will be created. And then right click on it and go to properties. So this is the location. Okay, somewhere in your workspace, somewhere in your in your machine. So it will be this index.html. Maybe in your case it will be C drive or D drive or whatever. where exactly your workspace is available. Index.html file is there. Just copy this location path and paste it in your URL, okay, in your address bar on your browser. So you will get that particular report like this. Okay, so this is another advantage. You can show this report to your manager, this entire report, that okay, this particular test case is getting failed, okay, and these are getting passed. This is a very basic report we are getting. Although in again another session we will check how can we generate some very good reports like extend report and all those things. I'll teach you later. But this is a TestNG basic report we are getting. Okay, this is another feature that okay, generating good reports. Second thing is so far we have seen the okay, this priority. Now I want to define that okay, I want to give some grouping also. Let's say I have 100 test cases in a class, and out of these 100 test cases, let's see, first test case is related to title. So what we can do, we can define the grouping also. So let's say if you have defined priority, then put comma. So another attribute or another feature we can define like this: groups is equal to what is my group name. Let's say this is related to title group. Okay, let's see, this is related to groups is equal to logo. This is related to groups is equal to link test or something like that. And last three are related to same group. Let's see, groups is equal to, let's see, my group name is test, simple. Okay, and I'll write the same thing for these last two test cases. Okay, group this and for this also. Okay, so I have defined one more keyword, groups. It means this particular test case related to group, and it's up to you, whatever the group name you want to give, you can give. Let's see, I have 100 test cases. Out of 100 test cases, 10 test cases are related to, let's see, search page. So I can define group is equal to search. 10 test cases are related to registration feature. So I can write group is equal to registration or something like that, right? So if you run this program, let's run it again. So group wise also you can define, and in the report it will generate group wise report. So grouping also you can define for your test cases. So let it run and I will show you how exactly it's defining on the basis of groups. Okay, so let it execute all the test cases. I think this test case taking time, this particular test case, because explicitly we are making it failed. Okay, so it's gonna wait for, we have given the implicitly wait of 30 seconds. That's gonna wait for 30 seconds. Now it's gone. Now it will be fast. This test case also passed. So 6 times browser will be launched because 6 test cases we have written, and one more time it will be launched. Okay, and the report is done. If you see the report, we are getting the report once again. 6 test cases, 1 failure, 5 passed. Again, I have to what? I have to refresh my. I have to refresh my project. I'll go to index.html file, get the location, and I'll go to my browser, copy that location again, and you will see that same 5 test cases got passed, 1 failed. But if you see 4 groups are there, you click on it, so you can see the group wise report also. This is a very good feature. I really like this feature. You can define the group wise feature, that for link test we have 1 test case, for logo we have this particular, for test group we have these 3 test cases, for title we have only 1 test case. Let's see, for title you have written 5 test cases, so all the 5 test cases will be categorized under title group, right? For logo, let's say you have written around 10 test cases, although for logo generally we don't write 10 test cases. Let's see, 5 test cases, logo test 1, logo test 2, logo test 3, or multiple images you are checking. So everything is coming inside a single group. Okay, just like this, test 1, test 2, test 3 we have written inside the test group. Okay, So this is a very good feature that you can give the grouping also, and it's very famous interview question that how we define the grouping in TestNG. So we have to use group keyword, groups keyword, not groups keyword, like that we have to define. Okay, okay. Another thing is, let's create one more class. Let's see, I'm going to create one more TestNG class. So simple right click, new, and class. Let's see, TestNG features. As I told you that we don't write main method inside TestNG class. So simple click on finish, and okay. So let's see, I'm going to create three test cases. I'm not going to write any at the rate before or at the rate after. Simple, I'm going to create at the rate three test cases. Let's see, public void login test. Okay, and simple, I'm printing. I'm not writing any Selenium code. Simple, I'm printing login test. And this test is annotation is available in TestNG, so just import it. Okay, so I'll just copy paste and I'll write two more test cases. Let's see, login test, then home page test, and let's see then search page test. Right, so these three things I have written. Let's see, I have forget about search page. I'm going to comment this. Okay, I have only two test cases, login test and home page test. Right, so if you run this program quickly, run as TestNG, immediately it will give you login test. Both the test cases are fine, two test cases are fine. Right, both the test cases got passed. Simple, we are just printing it, that's it. But I want, there are some chances that some test case is dependent on some other test case. So what we have to do, let's see, let's take this scenario. We have an application. Let's say login is failed. Login is not working today. So there is no point to execute other test cases, right? For other test cases execution, you have to get into the application. Then only you can do that. Let's see, Facebook login is not working. Then what is the need of testing other features? The login itself not working. I cannot get into the app. So there is no point to execute, okay, other test cases. There is no point to waste my time, right? So what we have to do, we can define one keyword, and we know that login test is the most important test case, and all other test cases are totally dependent on login test, right? So what we can do, and we know that home page test is totally dependent on login test, so we can define the dependency between these two test cases. How to do that? Again, bracket, we have one keyword depends on methods. Okay, on which method it depends? It depends is equal to only single equal to login test. Like this we have to write. It means at the rate test. Okay, this particular home page test is totally dependent on login test. See, exact method name you have to copy paste here, and the keyword is depends on method. So if depends on method will find that this particular test case home page test is totally dependent on login test. So I'll write please. Okay, home page test is totally dependent on login test. Now the condition here is if login test is getting passed, then only this particular test will be considered. Okay, if login test is getting failed, then this particular test case will be failed automatically. I mean, this particular test case will not be failed, it will be ignored, it will not be considered to be executed, right? So right now what is happening, if you run this program, login test, obviously it's getting passed, then control will come over here. TestNG will try to execute this, it will check, okay, it depends on login test, and it will check what is the condition of login test, what is the status of login test. The status of login test is pass. It means then home page test will be executed. Then okay, the preference will be given to home page test. Otherwise, home page test will not be executed. So if you run this program, see, it's very important feature. Run as TestNG. You see the output, right? Both the test cases got passed, login test and home page test. If you see the output, login test is passed, then home page test is passed. So home page test is totally dependent on login test. Now, what if login test is getting failed? So what I'll do, I'll make it fail. Simple, I'll write int I is equal to, let's see, 9 divided by 0. So 9 divided by 0, I cannot divide any value by 0, any number by 0. It will give you some exception, right? It will give you divide by 0 error, some exception it will give you. It means this particular test case will be failed. If this is getting failed, then this particular test case will be skipped. It will not be considered. Okay, TestNG is not going to execute this particular test. So let's run it. Okay, so it's testing first test case. Now see, my first test case login test got failed. It giving arithmetic exception, the divide by 0 error. 9 by 0, it will give you infinite. So this is a divide by 0 error. I can in programming, okay, I cannot divide any number by 0. It will give you arithmetic exception. It means this test case is giving some exception, right? So this test case will be marked as failed, right? If it is failed, and we know that home page test is totally dependent on login test, and login itself getting failed, then why we are getting executing this? Login is not happening, then why we are moving to home page test, right? So if you see the report also, so you see login test got failed. What is the reason of failure? Reason is arithmetic exception divided by 0 error. So that's why home page test is yellow marked. Yellow means skipped. It got skipped. Okay, it will not be considered to be executed. Okay, so and in fact, and you see in the console report also, this particular test case got marked as failed. So see, it's not going to execute home page test. There is no home page test, right? And immediately it will give you two test cases got executed, but out of them only one is failed, so another one is skipped. There were two test cases, one is failed, one is skipped. Now let's see, tomorrow we have one this particular test case also. We have, and we have defined, it depends on this also, depends on method is equal to login test, right? It means both the test cases are dependent on login test. And let's see, I'll write one more test case. Let's see, registration page, search page test. Okay, so we have four test cases: login, home page, search page, and registration page. Okay, let's see, I'll write like this. Right, now all these three test cases, home page test, search page test, and registration test, okay, all these test cases are dependent on login test. Okay, because we have written depends on method equal to login test, depends on method equal to login test, depends on method is equal to login test. If first one is getting failed, login test is getting failed, all these three test cases will be skipped immediately. TestNG will not consider these things. See, this is the biggest advantage. If login is getting failed, then there is no point to execute other test cases. Immediately your automation will be terminated. It will give you the report that, boss, your login is not happening in the application, please fix that issue, then execute other test cases, right? So if you run this program and you see that login immediately will be failed and other test cases will be ignored, will be skipped. You will see that four test cases were there, one got failed and three skipped. In the report also, login test is failed, and then these three test cases got ignored. Okay, but if login test is working fine, let's say I comment this line int I equal 9 divided by 0, right? If login test is passed, then all the test cases will be executed one by one. Now it doesn't matter that maybe registration page is getting failed. Okay, that doesn't matter, that's a separate thing, but it will be considered. Okay, because login test is getting passed, then it will be considered. So if you run this program, okay, so it's executing login page test, it's executing home page, registration page. Why it is not executing other test cases? Okay, login page should execute. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, now it's executing. Okay, some problem with the Eclipse earlier. So see, one by one, login page is passed, then home page test, registration page, and search page test. Okay, so this is the feature of depends on methods. Please remember this keyword. They will ask you at a time of interview, and in your project also you can implement. Okay, okay. One more important feature we will see. Invocation count test. What is invocation count? I'll tell you. Let's see, I have a method public void. Let's see, some method is there, right? And inside this method, simple, I'm writing int a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 20, and int c is equal to simple a plus b. Okay, and this @test is available in TestNG, so import it. And then I'm printing system.out.println sum is plus c. Okay, so let's run this program. Simple, run as TestNG. So sum is 30, it's printing because c is equal to 10 plus 20, 30. Fine. What I want to execute the same test case 10 times. Okay, the same test case I want to execute 10 times or 100 times or 20 times, right? So no need to write someone like this. No need to write some other test case 10 times with a different name like this. Then some 2, then some 3, some 4. Because I want to execute 10 times. Okay. Then no need to write 10 times different test methods you have to create. No need to create. So what we have one keyword is available again, invocation count. How many times you want to execute the same test case? I want to execute 10 times. Let's see. Invocation count is equal to 10. So this particular test case will be executed 10 times. So if you run it, see, got executed 10 times immediately. So no need to write 10 test cases. See, it got some 1 by 10, 2 by 10, 3 by 10, 4 by 10. It means out of 10, 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, and 10 by 10. 10 times is got executed. Some method got executed 10 times. So sometime what happens, generally we don't use invocation count, but sometime what happens, let's see, you want to execute the same test case again and again, right? Let's say you want to dump the data into the system. In that case, you can use invocation count equal to 10. You want to execute the same test case multiple times, 5 times or 10 times. You want to generate the report, or you want to generate a data or something. Okay, so no need to call that method again and again or write the method again and again. Simple, write invocation count 10 times, it will be invoked. Okay, this is again one of the important feature. Okay, okay. Now, one more important thing these days, a lot of people are asking at a time of interview that exception timeout test. Okay, see, again, I have one test case. Let's see, test public void. My test name is, let's see, test one, right? And import it from TestNG. Let's see, my test case name is infinite loop test. Okay, so what I'm doing here, let's say I'm creating one variable int I is equal to 1, and I'm writing one while loop while I is equal to 1, then simple print system.out.println the value of I. Okay, so what will happen? Simple, first time it will check I equal to 1. Okay, I equal to 1. 1 equal to 1, condition true or false, condition is true, it will print I, right? It will print 1. Again I equal to 1, we are not increasing the value of I, right? So again I equal to 1, so again I equal to 1, again I equal to 1, so it will generate an infinite loop. Okay, infinite times it will be executed, right? So if you run this program, you getting my point? Okay, I'll repeat. I equal to 1, fine. 1 equal to 1, condition is satisfied, it will come inside the while loop, it will print 1, right? Again it will check 1 equal to 1, yes, condition is again satisfied, it will print 1. Again 1 equal to 1, so it will be executed infinite times. Okay, why? Because I'm not terminating my loop, I'm not increasing the value of I. Okay, my condition is like that only, that I'm generating infinite loop, right? So let's say you have 100 test cases you have written, and in one of the maybe test case is getting taking a lot of time. Okay, so, and your test case is fine, it's taking infinite loop, and tomorrow morning you see the report that okay, still the 50 number test case get okay taking some time, it's stuck somewhere in infinite loop. Okay, but we have one mechanism. If a particular test case is stuck somewhere due to infinite loop or maybe some time issues, okay, so let's first run this program, and you see that, see, infinite loop, it's keep printing 1 1 1 1 1 1. So if you want to terminate this program, you have to terminate manually, you have to click, you have to terminate. See, it's printing 1 1 1 1 1 1, infinite time it will print. Okay, so manually you have to terminate your program, but we have one method, timeout method. Okay, and you can give some seconds, let's see, 2 milliseconds I have given. Timeout is equal to 2 millisecond. It means if any infinite loop, so maximum timeout means we are giving just that, if that particular test case should be executed within 2 seconds, right? It should not take more than 2 seconds. So let's say timeout I have given for Selenium test case, I have given 30,000 milliseconds, means 30 seconds. So maximum time we are giving for that particular test case is 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds, if it can be executed, it is fine. Otherwise, it will be terminated. Okay. So let's see, I have given 2 milliseconds. Okay. So for 2 seconds, it will be executed. Oh, it's generating. Just a minute. It's really difficult to, although we never use, see, infinite loop got executed. It's showing array index of bound exception. So we have one more. Invocation timeout is equal to, let's see, 2 seconds. I don't remember exact keyword. Maybe invocation timeout. Let's run it. Okay, let's see, it is still running. Think just a minute. Timeout is coming in. Let's give only 2. Maybe 2000 milliseconds. It does not accept it. Let's run it again. Okay, let's see. It's still keep running, and immediately it'll give you error. Okay, array index out of bound exception. This is the invocation timeout. Okay, so that I'll check if we have to give in milliseconds or 2 seconds. The description is not written over here. They have written that invocation timeout in long. It means it's, yeah, the number of milliseconds, the maximum number of milliseconds we have to provide. Okay, so it should be executed, it should be terminated within 2 seconds, but it's not, but it's giving you the report. Okay, But once you execute through Jenkins or Maven, then it will work. Maybe because of Eclipse feature, it's not work. It's keep running your test cases. But never use this thing, because always try to avoid these infinite loop things, infinite loop conditions in your program. Okay, this is a bad way of writing the code, that I'm not terminating my loop. Okay, this is just for understanding. Okay, we never write these kind of things in our code, in our automation framework designing. Okay, we never write such infinite loops. Always avoid these kind of infinite loops. Okay, this is the one thing. Another thing, I think one more keyword is there. Not exactly. I think, yeah, expected exceptions. Sometimes you see that, okay, yes, I'm expecting this exception, so please don't so don't uh, terminate your test case, or don't fail your test case. So we have one expected exception. So I'm expecting some exception. What is my exception? It can be whatever, array index out of bound exception, or number format exception, or whatever. Okay, so you need to write that exception name here, number format exception, like this. Whatever the exact name you have to give. Okay, number format exception. So this is my expected. It's asking actually class name. So number format exception, not the string, number format exception. That exception class you have to write dot class, like this. So I'm expecting, although we don't use these keywords, but this is a feature. Okay, so expected exception, that I'm expecting this exception, so please don't mark your test case as failed. Okay, so they might ask you at a time of interview that if you want to handle exceptions, okay, in TestNG, what is a keyword? We have expected exception, that we are expecting this exception, number format exception. Okay, so please don't do that. So let's see, let's test. Even I haven't tested it, so let's test. Public void, let's see, test one. Okay, and simple, let's see, I'm giving some number format exception. So how to generate number format exception? Let's see, I have one string, remember, string manipulation, uh, wrapper classes, and I'm converting this integer dot parse int x, right? And obviously, so let's comment this first of all, otherwise it will give infinite loop. So if you run this program, run as TestNG, okay, you see it's giving number format exception, right? Why number format exception? Because I cannot convert 100A into integer, right? So we are expecting this number format exception, and this particular test case is getting failed, and the failure reason is number format exception for input string 100A. Now what I'll do, I'll define expected exceptions is equal to number format exception dot class, like this you have to give, right? So now if you run this program, okay, it's got passed. Why? See, it's getting passed. Why? Because we are expecting this exception. So we are telling to Selenium, I mean not Selenium, to TestNG, that we are expecting number format exception. Okay, so even though it's showing number format exception, still the test case is getting passed. Okay, so this is the interview question. It's a somewhere tricky question they want to ask. If you want to handle without the try catch block, how will you handle it? So we have direct straightforward keyword, expected condition, and whatever the, let's see, array index out of bound exception. Some array is out of bound, but we are expecting that exception, so you can do like that also. Okay, so this is the concept of invocation timeout, expected, accept expected exceptions, you can write like this. Okay, yeah. So although we don't use these kind of things in Selenium, if any exceptions are coming, obviously we want to mark it failed. We never do like, okay, we are expecting this exception, and then still the test case is getting passed. No, if any exceptions or errors are coming, In that case, obviously we want to mark our test case failed. Okay, but this is a feature you should know that in TestNG. Okay, okay. One more thing, that in TestNG, yesterday we created this TestNG basics and we were taking the title of the page. Where is the title? Google title test. Okay, yeah, Google test page. We were taking the title, right? Remember? We were writing the Selenium code and we were taking the driver.get title, storing in title variable, and printing that on the console. But this is not the full test case. This is just the step. Driver.get title giving you Google title, right? The title will be Google, and we are printing on the console. What if driver.get title is giving you Facebook or Amazon? Then the title is wrong. Title is incorrect. How will you validate it? Now the test case will be passed every time, right? The test case will be passed every time. So what I'll do, let's create a class one more time. One more class. Let's see. Google title test. Simple. I'm writing a simple class. Google title test. Okay. And what I'll do, I'll copy this thing till here because I need this Google title test, and I'll copy @after method also so that I can quit the browser. Okay. And we have to initialize our WebDriver after the class so that this driver can be used, okay, throughout my program. Now simple, what will happen? And forget about this priority and all those things because we have only one test case. Now simple, what will happen? It's simple, execute before method and it will execute this test method and quit the browser. But this is not the testing. We are not we are not checking any validation that expected versus actual result. What is the actual result? This is the actual result. We are getting the title, let's see Google, but we have to validate it, right? The validation is the most important thing in Selenium, in testing, in automation or manual testing. So you have to validate it, that the whatever the title we are getting is correct or not. Otherwise, then what is the use of writing the automation? We are just opening the browser, opening google.com, getting the title, but we are not validating. Might be tomorrow you are getting Facebook instead of Google, right? So that is the incorrect title. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to validate it. Okay, we have to validate the title is correct or not. So validation is the most important thing in any test case. Now how to put validation? We have to put validation in the form of assertion. Okay, so what is an assertion? Assertion is a kind of validation. So we have one class, assert class, so A capital. Okay, assert dot, and we have different methods. Assert equals method is there, assert dot assert equals, and what is the actual value? My actual value is title. And what are you expecting? I'm expecting Google. Okay, so this is, I'm expecting Google. So no need to write if else condition, that if title dot equals Google, then print this, else incorrect title. No need to write like this. Simple assert dot assert equals will work. Title comma Google. This is my actual result which I'm getting from the UI, and this is the Google, which is what I'm expecting. Okay, it will compare both the things. If it is passed, test case will be passed. If both are not matched, test case will be failed. If it is failed, we can put one message also. We have one more parameter, that title is not matched, like this. Okay, if it is failed, then only this particular thing will be printed. Title is not matched. If it is getting failed, then only it will be printed. Okay, so first thing we have to write what exactly you are, okay, what is the actual value. Second thing, we have to write what exactly you are expecting. Third thing, if it is failed, assertion is failed, then print this message. Okay, title is not matched. So let's run this program. Okay, so simply it will open Google Chrome, done. Okay, and then it will generate a report. Okay, one test case is passed. If you see the report, Google test, okay, is passed. Right, now Google test is passed. So this is the assertion that we have to write. It's very important thing. Assertion is important. Let's see, deliberately I'm expecting Google 123. It will give you title is Google. So Google is equal to Google 123. No, test case will be failed. Right? I'm expecting Google 123. Deliberately I'm okay. I'm going to fail this test case. So Google is not equal to Google 123. So obviously it will be failed. So let's run it. Right? So it's failed. See the result. Google title test. Assertion error. It will give you, this is called assertion error. Title is not matched expected Google 123 but found Google. If you double click on it, it will give you, this is the expectation. Our expectation is Google 123, but we are getting Google. Okay. So this is, assertion is the most important thing in TestNG. We have to write assertions like this. Okay. Let's see one more example of assertion. Let's see logo. I want to check another test case is logo test. So I'll write this test case. I'll remove this, I don't need. Okay, logo test. So we are seeing that driver.find element by.xpath, this logo image is displayed or not. So whatever, if it is displayed, it will give you b equal to true, otherwise b equal to false. Doesn't matter. If it is false also, let's see logo is not displayed, my test case will be marked as passed. Let's see logo is not there, the test case will be passed. If logo is there, still test case is passed. If logo is not available, it will give you b equal to false. Is not displayed, b equal to false. Test case is still passed. Then what is the use of writing the test cases? We have to write the proper validation, proper assertion, that what we are expecting, that we have to write simple assert dot, we have one more, see, assert true. What are we expecting? We are expecting, okay, true. B should be true now. Now see, is displayed driver.find element by.xpath. If it is displayed, it will return true. So B will become true. And we have to write assert true B. B means true. It means the test case will be passed. Let's see if it is not displayed. B will be false. And assert true will be false. So it means assert true means we are expecting true. But we are getting false. So it will be failed. Right? So if you run this program, okay, so first test case will be failed because this one Google 123 we are not expecting, I mean we are expecting Google 123 but we are getting Google. Okay, so it will be failed. Again Chrome will be launched. Okay, got it. So first it executed, okay, yes, Google logo test. So Google logo test is fine. Why? Because we are getting logo is available, we are getting this ID is equal to HP logo, it's correctly fine, it's returning true. So B will become true. So assert true will be true. But Google title test, again the same thing, Google 123 we are expecting, we are getting Google. Okay, so assertion we can write like this, assert equals assert true, like this. We can compare two boolean values, we can compare two we can compare two string values also. So here we are comparing two string values. Okay, here we are not comparing, we are simply writing assert true. If you want to write assert equals, you can write assert equals also. It's up to you. So what is the actual thing? Actual thing is this B. What are you expecting? I'm expecting true. So this is the comparison. So either you can use this or you can use this. Both are same. So B is what? B is true. So true equal to true, condition is satisfied, it will, this test case will be passed. So like that also you can write assertion. Okay, so this is the concept of assertion. Okay, now one last thing in TestNG, then TestNG topic is over. So how many test classes we have created? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different test classes we have created. So let's see, in your project you have 50 test classes and you want to execute those test classes again and again, one by one. It's not like that first I'll open this, then I'll execute this, then I'll open this, then I'll execute this, then I'll open this, then I'll execute this. Not what 50 test classes are there or 100 classes are there. It's not the right practice to open one by one and execute them. No. What we have to do, we have to execute combined. We have to execute, okay, all the test cases, okay, combine it and then execute it. So how to do that? So we have to create one XML template file. Okay, so how to create that XML template file? Simple. In your src folder, let's right click on it and create a file. Go to other and click on file and click on next, and you can give the file name is testng.xml file. This is the name. Okay, you can change the name also, but most 99% cases we give testng.xml file. This is a template file, and click on finish. So what exactly it will do, it will just simply create one XML file, but what is the content we have to write here? Okay, so no need to remember, we just need to copy paste. So I'll give you the format of testng.xml file. Just a minute. Okay, I'll give you this format. We just need to copy paste and paste it over here. Okay. Okay, let me modify this. Yeah. Okay, so let me explain. So let's see, whatever the first attribute we have to give in XML, suite name. So what is your suite name? Let's see, my suite name is TestNG session test automation suite, right? And what is your test name? My test name is different TestNG feature test, whatever the name you want to give in your application. Let's say you're working with Amazon, so it will be Amazon test automation suite. You're working on, let's see, checkout module, so your checkout feature test, whatever the name, it's up to you, whatever the name you want to give. And you have to give the entry of all the classes over here. So my test case is available in com with the package name you have to give, always remember. So my package name is C. You have to give the entry of all the classes like this. Okay, so this is the classes attribute. Inside that classes we have different classes we can create like this. So what is my first entry? Com dot test is a package. Okay, com dot test dot, what is my class name? Exception timeout. So just get the class name. Okay, exception timeout. Again, com dot test dot google test. Don't write dot java. Okay, google test. Again, com dot test dot google title test, right? And we have three more classes. So after that, invocation count test. So com dot, okay, invocation count, and then testng basics. TestNG basics and TestNG feature. Okay, make sure no spelling mistakes. TestNG features, right? So 6 classes, 3 plus 3, 6, 6 entries classes we have given over here. Now, what we have to do, this is a testng.xml file we have created. What we have to do, we have to right click on testng.xml, and then this particular testng.xml we have to execute. No need to execute one by one separate individual classes. No need to do that. In your project, in your framework, let's say you have 50 testng classes. You can define 50 testng classes over here like this. Okay, and then just simple right click on testng.xml and run as testng suite. What exactly it will do, one by one, whatever the entry you have given over here, first it will execute this class, then Google test and Google title test, this like this. Okay, so simple right click on testng.xml, run as testng suite. Now see, it's executing one by one all the classes. Okay, so let it run. Let's quickly, whatever we have covered so far, okay, one by one it will execute. Okay, it's saying 17 test cases got run, one failure. If you see the report, see, the report is also very good like this. It's giving you the report like this. Okay, an exception timeout, one test case. Google title test, two test cases are there. Invocation count, 10 times we have executed. We have given invocation count. TestNG basics, TestNG features, all the test classes are getting executed like this. And again, refresh your page. Okay, test index.html file will be there. Right click, go to properties, get the location, and now see how many test cases. 17 methods, 17 test cases are there. One failed, 16 pass. See, it's giving you the complete report. One failed, Google title test. It will give you the result. You were expecting Google 123 but found Google. So they can share this report and your manager can see the report and easily can understand. Okay, yes, this particular test case got failed. Why? Because you were expecting Google 123 and we are getting Google. This is what we write in manual test cases, right? When we execute manual test cases, what we write? We write expected result and actual result. Expected is Google 123. Then we write in actual result that okay, no, as not expected, it's giving you Google, okay, or Google 123, and then we will mark it failed. In a status column, we mark pass or fail, right? Simple. The same thing we are doing in automation also. We are generating these kind of reports, and all these test cases are getting passed like that. Okay, so you can generate the report like that. So although this is not a very good looking report, we will see some other reports also like extent report and all those stuff. We will do that later. Okay, so this is all about TestNG. It's a most important topic. Okay, please practice. There are a lot of things in TestNG, but simple. It's very simple. TestNG is very simple, but a lot of interview questions are there in TestNG. Okay, so that's all for today. Tomorrow in the next session we will see some other things we will start. Okay.